First webinar of 2026, and great of you to all join us this morning. Got a nice big crowd here so far. There are a few more hopefully going to be joining us later on. And if you've missed anything, don't forget you can always catch up on our YouTube channel. If you want to go over anything again, if you just go to YouTube and search for Harts Limited, then you'll be able to catch up on anything that you might have missed. So as usual, we have to read out our usual disclaimer, which is basically the following presentation is produced for general guidance only, and professional advice should always be sought before any transaction is undertaken. Individual circumstances can vary, and therefore no responsibility can be accepted by Harts Limited or any of its affiliates for any action taken or any decision made to refrain from action by attendees of this presentation. So we've got the formal bit out of the way. There are other online resources that we offer. Follow us on LinkedIn, please. That would be great. We're posting out at least every day, Monday to Friday. So please feel free just to follow us on there and you'll catch up with all sorts of interesting stuff going on. And we're also on YouTube, as I've mentioned already today. So we have our own YouTube channel. We started doing this about 6 years ago when COVID hit. So you now got 6 years worth of content sitting up there. So lots of interesting stuff we've put in over the years. Please feel free to go and have a look at that and search for Harts Limited. And then we're also on Spotify because we have done some podcasts with some business owners who've seen it, done it, got the t-shirt and so on. And the challenges that they faced while running their business are very similar to the challenges that most people will face and you may have faced yourselves whilst you're in business. So it's well worth having a listen to that if you want to. You might be able to pick up a few points. That would be great. A couple of the few more events that are actually coming up at the moment. So we have our Ladies in Business event coming up on the 5th of March, and that's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have our business club lunch on the 18th of March. That's at the Holling Hall Hotel in Bollington. Normally very well attended. We normally have about 50 people there, 50 to 60 people there with the guest speaker. And this time we actually believe we've got Porsche cars coming to exhibit. So that should be one for interesting. I wonder if they'll put that up for the business car draw. No, maybe not. And then on the 25th of March, we have our next webinar in this series on common VAT errors you need to know. We come across all sorts of errors which people are making in the bookkeeping. And it's essential that you start getting these things right. Most people do, but there are a lot of errors that you need to be aware of. Because if you do get a VAT visit and they pick these up, not only you have to pay over the VAT, you'll probably have to pay some interest and potentially some penalties as well. So may as well get it right from the word go. So that should be an interesting webinar on common VAT errors you do need to know. If you want to book on to any of these, go to our website at harts-ltd.com and /events, and you'll see on the events page there details of all the upcoming events that we have. And a couple of updates, making tax digital. So if you are affected by this, then you will be having a turnover as a sole trader and a landlord combined turnover, not profit, of £50,000 a year from April 26th. So that's in about a few weeks' time. Then you are affected by it. If you are affected, then please let us know because we can help you. The tax filing is onerous, so we will help you out with that. We've also got inheritance tax changes coming up. As you're aware, the value of your unused pension pot will soon form part of your inheritance tax liability potential. So it's well worth getting in touch if you want to do some tax planning around that. We've got tax increases from April, dividend tax and so on. And then we have the minimum wage increase coming again from April. So everyone needs to be aware of that. But if you want details of any of these, please feel free just to drop me a line at Harts Limited and we'll be able to help you with all of that. Okay, that's enough of the quick updates. Let's have a look at New Year and a new business strategy. So why should you start to build your strategy now? Well, we're at the beginning-ish of a new year. It's always a good time to go back and reflect on what you've done in the past and then look forward to say, well, what do I really want to be doing going forward? We've also got the economic situation, which is always uncertain. We've got very limited growth in the market. So how are you going to grow your business or get more out of your business? So the economic situation may well have an influence on what you want to do. You might be thinking of selling your business. And if you are thinking of selling, well, maybe now's the time to have a strategy in place to be able to get your business fit for sale. So if you're thinking of selling maybe 2 or 3 years' time, now is the time to start getting ready for it. And then we've got the advent of AI, which is going to affect a lot of businesses going forward. So how is your business going to get affected by AI? And it may well be that you need to have a strategy in place to be able to deal with that. So what we're going to briefly cover is what is a strategy as opposed to a plan, why you need one, which I think we've probably touched on already, what can happen if you don't have one, and then what should you be doing next? Well, we can help you with all of that. So what is a business strategy? Well, it's a World Cup year. We've got the World Cup happening in Mexico, hopefully, and the USA. So let's use a footballing analogy as it's a World Cup year. My favourite team, for better or for worse, is Manchester United. They've always been a red, and I can't help that. So for all you other fans, you'll just have to bear with me for the next few minutes. So if you're a Manchester United fan, and Manchester United have a plan of let's score as many goals as we can from corner kicks. That could be your overall plan, your overall strategy. So the overall strategy is let's actually win games by scoring goals from corners. How we actually do that, that's the detail. There might be 10 different ways that we can actually score goals from corners, but the overall strategy is we want to score goals from corners. That, if you can equate to a business strategy, then the actual method of how we do it is the business plan element of it, because it's a lot more detailed. You maybe want to try and score one directly, you put it out to the edge of the box and someone hits it, you put one into the box and put all your players there, you have your players moving around. And if anything of the last game was going on between United and Everton, there'll be a lot of fighting going on in the box as well. That could be part of your plan, hopefully not. So that's really what a strategy is. It's an all-encompassing way of looking at your business going forward. But be realistic about it. You've got to be realistic. You can't turn around and say, I want Manchester United to be the best team in the world, because that's a very unrealistic strategy, well, especially at the moment. But if you want to say, well, I want my business to be the best in the world, how do you define best? What are you comparing yourself against, and so on? So have something which is realistic as a strategy. And you can also have a bad strategy as well. So it may be you're putting something together which isn't really a strategy, it's survival. So let's have a look at not having any bad strategies. So why have one, and why is it so important? Well, having done this with a number of businesses over the years, it gives you what you want, both from a personal and a business point of view. It will give you enormous focus on what you're doing going forward and the direction to do it. It will give you targets to aim for. It gives you an action plan for the future and a blueprint. It also makes you accountable, because a lot of the time people's thoughts and ideas, they're often just in the head. They're not there going forward. They're not on paper, so no one sees it. So if you don't quite make it, you think, well, I didn't quite do it this time round. I'll do it next month. No, you've got it down on paper as a document, and you become accountable not only to yourself, but also to the rest of your team. And it could be one for survival as well. It may mean you have a strategy that is just survival, depending on the type of business that you're in, or it could be one for growth. And all of that potentially leads to greater profit at the end. And that in turn will give you satisfaction and achievement. And I've seen this pan out with many businesses over the years that I've worked with. So if you don't have a strategy, what can actually go wrong? Well, you don't really have any direction. You're firefighting all the time. You're dealing with those day-to-day things, and you're not taking the time out to actually say, well, what am I doing with this thing which I've created here? I've got a load of people selling stuff, which is what business is all about, but where am I going with it? So you have short-term thinking. You've got no clear leadership. That can lead to low staff motivation, low morale. You might miss out on opportunities that are out there, Or if things are doing very well, you just become complacent. And then when something bad happens, then you're not in a position to be able to pivot and deal with that problem. So a lot of things can go wrong if you don't have a strategy. You could end up just drifting along with this business. No, you want to have something which you could actually becomes tangible in where you want to be and what you want to try and achieve. So the three key questions we're going to ask ourselves are, where are you now? Where is your business up to now? What are you doing now? Where do you want to be in, say, 5 years' time? Because that's a reasonable expectation for the future. And then how are you actually going to plan to get there? So if you think, right, I'm creating my plan, I want to be there in 5 years' time, which means I've got to be here in 4, here in 3, here in 2. This is what I've got to do over the next 12 months to be able to get my plan in place. And that will enable you as a starting point to say, right, this is what I want to achieve over the next 5 years. Direction might change, the target might change, but at the end of the day, you have an overall strategy of what your business is. And I've put here the top 5 things to consider. Well, actually, there's about 7 of them, and we're going to go through them because they're all extremely important. So the first one is your personal and business objectives. These are the most important, and we're going to look at this in a bit more detail later on. And we're going to look at pricing your products. Are you selling your products at the right price? Have you put your prices up recently? If not, why not? That could be a strategy as well going forward. What products are you selling? What would you like to sell? What do you have a sales and marketing plan? Most businesses don't that I've worked with. Very few businesses have a sales and marketing plan, but then how do people know what you're trying to sell to the market if you don't have any plan for that? With the financial modeling will come out of what we actually do, but it tends to fall out at the end rather than being the be all and end all of it. And then we're going to look at your management and staff teams and information systems and so on. Are you getting the information out of your current system? Because otherwise you're kind of working blind. Everyone needs to know their numbers. So we're going to look at all areas of the business, including your personal objectives, your business objectives, your information systems, marketing, why do people buy from you, your team, how to expand. We're going to look at your industry, competitors, market trends, and then we follow up with everybody. So next, look at some initial personal questions. And put something in the chat box, please. I'd like you to answer this one very briefly. What is the most important thing to you about being in business? Please use the chat box. I'd love to see some replies. I'll give you a minute or so just to reply to that one, to give you a chance to think about something there. So why are you in business in the first place? What made you go into business? What's important to you about business? Have a think about that. Still waiting for some replies. It's difficult. Sometimes it can be difficult. You think, well, why am I doing what I'm doing? Okay, making a living in a field that I enjoy. Yeah. Any others? There must be other reasons why you're in business. Otherwise, what are you doing it for? Okay, if that one's too hard, how about how do you generally feel on a Sunday evening? Are you really looking forward to work? Or are you okay? Or do you wish the weekend was longer? You've got an option of 3 there. Sophie says, being my own boss, succeed in an area where I'm happy. Great. That's why you're in business. Fantastic. But are you looking forward to work? Being in control, hopefully. Great. So, but how do you feel on a Sunday evening? Let's put an answer. You've got a choice of 3. Let's have some answers in the chat box, please. Okay, you're content. Fantastic. So if people weren't content and they weren't feeling so great because they wish the weekend was longer, well, that starts to ask some questions about, well, why? What is it that you don't want to do when you go back to the office? What's making you feel that you don't want to go into your business? Or is it just because you want more time with your family? That could be another reason for changing why you're working. And in terms of your workload, not your role, would you like to work less hard, the same, or harder? Do you want to stick some answers in the chat box to that one? So these are all sorts of the personal questions which we ask our clients to start trying to gain information and gauge where they're trying to be and what they're trying to do from a personal point of view. If we move on, we can look at some business objectives, some more questions. If you can answer these, fantastic. Just put something in the chat box. That would be great. Do you believe your business is currently making enough profit? Anybody want to answer that one? If you think it's yes, it is, then fine. If it's not, what are we going to do about it? If you were absent for 3 months, would your business plunge, survive, continue unabated, or even flourish without you? That would be good if it did. It means you don't need to be there. But if it's solely reliant on you and you're the key person in there, how are you ever going to get away from the business? So it's all these sorts of questions we need to be asking. What are the biggest challenges that you face at the moment? Feel free to stick something in the chat box on that as well, and we can go through them. So in a way, from a personal point of view, you might want to earn some more money. You might want to work less hard, 4 days a week. You might want to have longer holidays. You might want to move a house and feel more successful. And you might want financial security. All of these have come out of sessions which we've had with clients. You might want a new car. One of my clients went through this process and all they wanted was to have a Jaguar. They've always wanted to own a Jag. So I said, well, right, stick that down as one of your personal objectives and let's try and achieve that over the next few years. They couldn't afford it then, but maybe they can afford it going forward. Yes, Andrew, I think difficult to recruit good staff is always a big challenge, especially for service firms. Well, from a business point of view, your objectives could be you want to have targeted profits of X thousand pounds. You might want to work for only 4 days a week in the business. You might want to achieve much higher sales. You might want to reduce the debt so you're not so reliant on debt within the business. Or you might want to have an exit plan. That's what you're working towards over the next 5 years. You might want to do a sales and marketing plan as well for the business. And improve your business culture. Is everybody working under the same hymn sheet and so on? So if he wants to plan for retirement, fantastic. Let's think about that now. So have a look as well, looking at products and services now. So have a look at your existing products and services. Look at what you're offering now and as the market for those products, is it growing? Is it reducing or is it just static? And what's the future looking like for those products and services? What turnover do you achieve from each of these services? What opportunities are there now for new products and services? How can you diversify what you're actually doing or going to offer new products and new services so you can become more competitive in the market? Why do customers buy from you? Do you know why they buy from you and not anybody else? Is it just price? It rarely is. It's often the case that people want to talk to somebody. It's personal service, it's reputation that you've built up over the years. And a number of times, again, we've done this and price doesn't come very high on the list. Do you know? Do you need to find out why people buy from you? Might want to do some sort of customer survey and get somebody independent to do that for you. And get rid of pitter clients and customers. What do we mean by that? Pain in the arse clients, get rid of them. They only drag you down. They're the ones that always want everything and won't pay for it. So why have them? Just get rid of them. Let's look at your marketing side of the business. So, do you have a marketing plan? Have you reviewed your marketing materials? Do the marketing materials actually say what you do and what you're trying to achieve and where you want to go and the products that you're offering? Or is it just general bland stuff that's out there? How do you target new customers? There's lots of ways of doing this fairly cheaply now with social media. It can be very cheap. You've got LinkedIn, you've got TikTok, Instagram, and all the rest of it. You've got to find out which is the best way to actually market your products on social media. You might want to do a social media strategy and identify your target market, and which is the best social media platform to be able to go on to actually sell your products. It may well be that it's not social media. It might be direct marketing that you actually need to use. But have you actually developed a plan of to what you're going to be doing and how you're actually going to market your products? Do you do networking? Do you go to any local networking groups to try and get your name out there as well? What do you actually do for your customers? Do you actually supply a newsletter for your customers or general updates for your customers? Or are you just waiting for them to come to you? You want to try and get out there and be in front of them as part of a marketing exercise. I'm a chartered accountant. I'm not a marketeer, but some of this stuff is very straightforward to do. And I've kind of picked this up over the years, and it does have an effect. What's your website looking like? Is it tired? Is it old? Is it old-fashioned? Do you need a refresh? Do you need to have a trading facility on your website? Can people buy direct from you that way? All these sorts of things can be a part of your strategy going forward. Do you actually have chatbots on your website? Can people just talk to you at any time of the day or night? All sorts of things that can come out of looking at your marketing side and what you're actually going to do and what targets you want to actually aim for, what customers you're aiming for. So there's quite a bit you could be doing in your marketing strategy. Pricing. How do you actually price your products? Have you actually put your prices up recently? You often find people say, well, I don't think I can afford to put my prices up. Yeah, you'll be surprised. Inflation has been running away with us recently, and it's gradually, thankfully, it's slowing down a bit now, but it's still at 3%, still way above the Bank of England's target rate of 2%, still higher than that in America as well. But how do you actually price your products? If you work back and say, well, I'm not making enough margin on this product, let's have a re-look at that. Or is there a way of reducing the costing of that product so we can actually keep the price the same? Initially, people come to me and say, well, I haven't put the prices up for 3 or 4 years. I said, well, why not? Everybody's been putting their prices up recently. We've had, as I say, lots of inflation. People would expect to pay more. And you're only losing out in the long term, even from inflationary. So one thing to look at is actually putting your prices up and do it each year. It doesn't need to be a one-off hit. You're not ripping people off. What you're doing is asking people to pay the market rate for your product. If you start getting loads of complaints, then potentially you've gone too far with your pricing. But in most cases, that won't happen. And it can often be the case that if you put your prices up, you might lose a little bit business at the bottom end, but at the end of the day, you'll make more money doing less work. It's just looking at the equations. And if you want to go into that in a bit more detail, we can do that with you. Are there opportunities for premium pricing? So are you doing something which very few people out there are actually doing? So you've got a premium product which you can actually charge a premium price for. Have a look at that. How do you actually target your new customers? Are you going direct to them? I heard a nice story from a client, a marketing company who were targeting customers. And what they did was they sent a locked box to 60 targets and said, we'll give you the code to be able to open this box if we can have an initial meeting with you, and there's a gift inside for you. Great way of getting someone's attention. I've seen other people just sending mugs personalized to the relevant person they're trying to get in front of, with a tea bag in front of it, inside it, and say, can we have a cup of tea with you? We'd love to have a chat. All these sorts of things are out there. Some of them are cheesy, some of them are not, but it will get you in front and make you stand out from everybody else. Are you unique in what you're actually doing? And again, we've talked about putting your prices up. Have a look at your management information systems and teams. Are you getting the right information out? Do you know what your numbers are? We look a lot on Dragon's Den. I don't know if everybody watches that, but then people watching Dragon's Den, the first thing people fall down on sometimes is they don't know the numbers. They don't know how much turnover they're making, how much margin they're making, and how much profit there is. Only needs to be three numbers, but if you don't know that, you can't know where you're going with your business. So have you got the information you're getting out of your system? Is it what you need? It might be that just financial information. It can also be product information. How much of each product are you selling? Do you have seasonal sales? What is the opportunity to offer it to more people? Are all your customers based, or 80% of your customers based on, or 80% of your sales based on 20% of your customers? Is there an opportunity to diversify there? Are you too reliant on one? Do you have all the right information for that? Do you hold regular board or management meetings with your team? Does everybody know what you're trying to achieve? You might be going in one direction, they don't understand why you're doing it. Disseminate that information to the whole of your team so everybody then becomes working from the same hymn sheet. Do you have the right number or the right type of staff? Do you have the right business culture? Is everybody working together to say, yeah, this is what we're all trying to achieve? Are they all enthusiastic about what you do? Or is there always one person in the office that's dragging everybody down? It's all these sort of things we need to be thinking about, from your management information, your computer system, your CRM, the teams that you have in place, and so on. So you're having a look at all of this sort of thing. And once we've done all of that, we've started to create our strategy. And out of that, you'll be having potential implementation projects. It may be that the last couple of sessions we've had with clients, they needed to move premises. They've done it. They've moved premises. That was an implementation project that was actually, in one case is ongoing, one case it's already been done and working very successfully. You'll come out with an action plan of deciding who's got to do what and when, and it's all written down. It's not just in someone's head. You can share it with your advisor or a colleague so you become accountable to them, and then you can review it on a regular basis. You can review your performance against your plan. That can be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be 6 monthly, however often you want, and that can be amended and updated. Some of the common implementation projects and action points which have come out from what we've done in the past is we prepare management accounts on a regular basis. Sometimes when you come to an accountant, you come in and you get a set of accounts 9 months after the end of the accounting period and say, right, that's what you did all that time ago. That's not going to tell you a great deal, really, because you're 9 months on. You want to know what you're going to be doing for the next 9 months, 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, and so on. It's no good knowing just, well, the tax bill's that, but I haven't got the money. I should have been saving up for it. But what am I going to do now? So prepare management accounts. It'll give you all the information that you need. It doesn't have to be necessarily just financial. It can be the amount of deals that you've done, the amount of sales of a product you've made, and so on. And all that can be built into kind of an information pack. Prepare cash flow forecasts. It may be that you want to expand your business, take on new staff. Can you afford it? How are you going to build that in? So preparing cash flow forecasts and profit forecasts is very common for what comes out of these. Preparing a marketing plan. I wouldn't want to do that for you, but we can introduce you to any number of marketing companies that will help you. We've got plenty of contacts which we've built up over the years that can help you both with your marketing and your branding. And make sure you've got the right staff. Recruitment is one of the biggest issues at the moment. Getting the right staff is always difficult, but they are out there. It's just going to take time, and getting rid of the wrong staff who are maybe dragging your business down. You just delegate more. You can't do everything. At some points, if you're thinking of selling out maybe in 5 years' time, one of the best things you can do is to have a senior management team in place. So you'll have your team in place, which you oversee, and they then work with all the people who are under them as part of the organizational structure. The idea being that when somebody wants to come and buy your business, they just take you out of the equation and slot in the senior management team, and away they go. And the business carries on as smoothly as it possibly can. So it can be delegating more, so you're getting more people doing what you were doing. And it relieves you from time as well. Maybe offers you the opportunity to go down to 4 days a week. Maybe it's increasing prices. Have a look at your prices. Again, this is all the stuff which has come out. So now it's time for the salesy bit, I'm afraid. Well, what should you be doing? Well, we offer a strategic planning session. Normally it will take anywhere between half a day to a day. And you have the opportunity to talk to us one-to-one. And you will talk about all these things we've talked about today. And we'll send you the ebook, which we promised. There's a free ebook on strategic planning, which will give you the opportunity to talk and understand a bit more about what's involved. So it gives you the opportunity to set aside some time to think about what you want to do and where you want to go with all of this. So there's an opportunity for working on your business and getting you out of the office or out of the factory or wherever you are just for a day. Give you the opportunity to do that. Within 24 hours of that session, you will have the report in front of you, and we can go through it, and then we can decide on who's going to do what by when, and we can follow up as often or as little as you like. Believe me, it makes a massive difference, and you will have some sort of epiphany hopefully during the sessions as well. So you're able to see, I never thought of that, or I didn't know you did that, or how can I sort that out? Lots of stuff we can actually do with you. Doesn't matter if you're a tiny business or you're turning over £50 million. The same process works for everybody. So feel free to drop us a line. You'll get a copy of the ebook, or we will email that out to you. And if you want to go and have a look on our website, let's go to harts-ltd.com/strategic-planning, and you'll be able to see more about what we do on our website. That's coming to the end of today's presentation, the end of today's webinar. Has anybody got any questions or anything they want to raise? Please feel free to unmute yourself. Let's have a conversation. Or if you don't want to do that, you want to stick a question in the chat box, again, please feel free to do so. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording and say thank you very much indeed for joining me this morning. If anyone wants to talk off the record, feel free, and I shall do that. So thank you very much indeed, and I'll hopefully see you on our next webinar or one of our next events.